This is the beginning of an in-depth or ultimate guide, if you will, about 90% silver coins. Investing in 90% silver coins is not only a black and white subject of values going up and down over time on a spreadsheet. People choose to collect these coins for personal, practical, and even historical reasons. Often the stories that lead one to collect come from generations past and can include milestones and memories from the lives of their loved ones. I'd like to share one such story and how I discovered the true value of 90% silver coins. It begins with an anecdote from more than 70 years ago. Born on March 8, 1926, Billy Gene Lemons grew up in the tiny village of Ringgold, Texas. During World War II, he was drafted into the U.S. Army and stationed in Munich, Germany. While in the Army, he received medals of honor for distinguished service as a sharpshooter and marksman. He also achieved the rank of corporal, serving as a military policeman. While in Munich, along with others, he had the responsibility of guarding the headquarters of visiting dignitaries and VIPs who were there to oversee the occupation forces. One of those dignitaries was General George S. Patton. Corporal Lemons' military stint was not the stuff of epic movies, but to his family and friends, he was a hero deserving of all the honor and respect due to the men and women who served in World War II. Decades later, Billy loved telling his family the story of how the troops were instructed not to eat the food given to them by the locals for fear of being poisoned by Nazi sympathizers. On one occasion, while riding a troop train, a resident family of the occupied city had pitched a large chunk of cheese onto the train in appreciation. As commanded, the soldiers were not going to eat it, but one man could not resist. He cut off a big piece and began to enjoy it. A few minutes later, the train traveled into a tunnel. As it became pitch black, the same soldier screamed, "Damn it, boys, don't eat any of that cheese. I've gone blind." The squad knew better, and they had a big laugh as they came back into the sunlight. Billy Gene Lemons was my grandfather. In September 1990, my grandfather passed away as a result of a brain tumor. I was 9 years old at the time. Among the many things left to my father were a variety of foreign and domestic currencies that my grandfather had collected during his time in Europe and throughout his life. The currencies included German marks and an old bank bag containing approximately 100 half-dollar Kennedys, similar to this one. Most of these were from 1964, making them 90% silver. Billy Gene Lemons knew what most didn't at the time, which I believe is illustrated in this quote. Lenin was right. There is no subtler, no surer means of overturning the existing basis of society than to debauch the currency. The process engages all the hidden forces of economic law on the side of destruction, and does it in a manner which not one man in a million is able to diagnose. John Maynard Keynes. Billy had been keeping every half dollar he got his hands on since the early 1970s. First, because JFK was a great and short-lived U.S. president, these coins would have historic value. Second, he collected them because he knew they were worth more than their face value, due to the debasement of government-issued coinage throughout history. According to a 25-year chart, the average price of silver was $8.73 an ounce in September 1990. That would put a value of about $316 on my grandfather's collection of Kennedy half dollars at the time of his passing. My father gifted those half dollars to me in 1995. A few years later, a thief would steal them all. I'd like to believe the thief ignorantly spent them for their face value of $50 instead of selling them for their silver content. After I realized they were gone, I was overcome with grief. It wasn't until April 2011 that I realized their silver content. In 1999, I was devastated because of the loss of the sentimental value in this collection, but in 2011, I was devastated by the financial loss due to the current spot value of silver. How much was lost? It was definitely not the $50 face value of 100 half-dollar coins. The loss of value included the rise to $52.26 an ounce spot price of silver in April 2011. Those circulated but good condition coins contained approximately 36.2 troy ounces of silver, a metal value of $1,890 in April 2011. That doesn't count the premium, which could have been as much as 5% on top of the spot. Even in January 1980, when my grandfather was still alive, the inflation-adjusted melt value would have been $3,947. That's not chump change. Before they were stolen, I didn't have my grandfather there to yell at me for the stupid mistake of showing off our collection. That was an expensive and gut-wrenching lesson learned. What started as an inherited coin collection of sentimentality ended with an understanding of market value of 90% silver coins. Other than through inheritance, why would someone go out of their way to own 90% silver coins alongside or as an alternative to silver bullion? I'm glad you asked. I'll be outlining more reasons to invest in 90% silver coins in other videos. Thank you.